the eclipse happened yesterday. I didn't see much where I am, but there are people, I think it was Mallorca and Ibiza, where they saw the full eclipse. Absolutely stunning, but I'm definitely feeling the energy. And today I'm here with Ankhara. Thanks for joining me, Ankhara. We're going to talk about how this eclipse energy is impacting us. We're going to talk about how it's impacting our purpose and success and what we're going through, as well as what we are supporting our clients and fellow humans through. So it's great to have you here, Ankhara. We had a great time chatting last time.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm really excited for our chat today. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I know we were chatting just like a little bit before we went live, and this eclipse for me, it hasn't been painful. There's been some revelations. They're already kind of coming through, and that's a little bit of, I know that you look at this through the astrology lens. I look at it through the Success Codex lens, and I think together they really give us this incredible picture. But through the Success Codex lens, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. So I'm excited to kind of share that perspective. And like I was thinking about this. It's like these big events that happen. We can know about them. It doesn't change them from happening, right? It's like, how do we want to walk ourselves through it? Is one piece, but the other part is like just having the awareness of what's happening can help us not feel like victims to it.
Right.
Like even if the circumstance sucks, you're like, oh, well, that's because we're crossing through this threshold of an eclipse. And here's what, here's what's getting activated. And here's the potential that's on the other side. And I was thinking about that with, the 8-8 portal and, all of these things that I think sometimes can put people in fear. It can make them feel disempowered instead of empowered. I know you take a really empowering stance. I try to take an empowering stance with what I share with people, but it's not true when you look across the board at like what people write about these events. Sometimes they can make you feel like scared,
Yeah. I mean, I just think that this particular eclipse is, for once, it genuinely is quite rare, right? There are a lot of people who go, oh, such a rare event, like this never happens. And it's like happens every year or every few months. But this is literally very rare. One of 10 eclipses in this whole family of eclipses. But I think I love the idea of it's about participating in the cosmic events, right? We are all part of the cosmos. So these things aren't happening to us, they're happening for us. And also they're here to help us initiate or be initiated. They're here to help us focus, refocus, align, realign, just like really allow whatever's next to begin to unfold. And it's really easy, just as human beings with our own big ideas and plans of what life is about, to kind of get stuck and get really comfortable, right? And be like, I know this landscape, I'm gonna stay here forever. This is great. Like I figured it all out. This feels like me. And then you have a total solar eclipse like this, where the south node in the sky has literally just moved into Leo. Then we had the 8-8 portal, and now we've got the total solar eclipse. So even though they're not all conjunct, as in they're not all close together, they're all happening in the sign of Leo. And so it's almost like, I described it to somebody the other day as like, pouring a bit of WD-40 on a rusty screw. So where we were all really comfortable in our Leo energies, it's like, it's not actually a fit, it just got a bit rusty. And now it's loosening. And so where have you been a little bit too comfortable in your creativity, your performance, the way that you show up? And what can you do now to initiate the next level, the elevation, or just simply a little bit of growth, right? So we just shouldn't get stuck. Like, change is hard. We don't always want to transform, but we must.
Yeah.
And so these events are, like you said, they're a threshold that we're being invited to cross. And for those of us that lean into the thoughts, the emotions, the patterns that are being highlighted, might not be comfortable, or you might be having a great time. But either way, there is something being offered to us on the other side.
Yeah. So like a few things came up when you were just speaking. Like, I love what you're saying. It's like these events aren't happening to us. We're participating in them. They're happening for
Yeah.
us. I would even say they're happening with us and
Yes,
through us, right? Like
that's
we
right.
contribute to them through our embodiment and through the way that we're,
Yeah.
taking these steps. I love like kind of this WD-40 metaphor, right? It's like, okay, it's loosening up what was. And it always makes me think like change isn't hard. The resistance to change is hard. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, it's going to throw a wobble in the field. Yes, we're going to be in situations that are new, uncomfortable. Like the unknown is existentially terrifying to most human beings, right? Like even if
Yeah.
you're walking into it. But at the end of
Mhm.
the day, what makes change so hard is our resistance to it. And so all that rust that's been keeping us like still, it's actually caused more suffering than just
Yes.
greasing the wheel and just going with it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think one of the things that's really powerful from a success codex perspective is exactly when this eclipse went direct. I pulled a chart for that. And it
Mhm.
really like the energy of the sun and moon, right, which are conjunct.
Mhm.
It's key code 4.3. Can I dive into this now? I'm going to
Yeah,
dive into
yeah,
it
go
now.
for it. Yeah.
um,
It's really
so,
interesting.
in the success codex for anyone, because I know like your people are astrology people. A lot of success codex folks also have an astrological lens. So I think
Yeah.
that part's
Yeah.
familiar, but the success codex, long story short, we take the astrology wheel and we cut it into 64 parts. And each of those
Mhm.
parts is then broken down into 6 more parts. So wherever the sun and
Yeah.
moon were, right, it's in a sign, it's in a house in astrology, it's in a key code and an approach in
Right.
my system, in the success codex, right? So
Okay.
the energy that we're in, it's key code 4, which is understanding. And
Mm.
it's interesting. We think of like Leo, understanding how does that work in the success codex, and it's in the strategy center or the ajna, the mind. So there is a
Mhm.
mental component of what's happening. I want to figure it out, right? So it's like wheel gets greased and where do we go? What key code 4 reminds us is that there are many ways to know beyond just the mind. And so it says,
Right.
you really want to understand? Ask your body, ask your heart, ask your
Mhm.
soul, ask your emotions, ask your
Mhm.
mind, right? And so what it does, right? Because I'm thinking of like, what happens? Okay, I grease the wheel, but now what? Like, what do I do with that? That's
Yeah.
when this is inviting us in, right? We have temporary blindness to this, right? That's the shadow cast from the eclipse is like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea where I want to go. I have no idea what I want to be.
Yeah.
Is this even working? And then the light gets revealed again, and it gives us this beautiful opportunity to ask more than just one part of ourselves, right? Because
Mm.
that's the habit. The habit is mind. We love
Yeah.
our minds. We love to figure it out. I love to figure it out. I love my
Mhm.
intellect. I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
right? But our
Yeah.
intuition can tell us things that the mind can't, and so can the heart, so
Yeah.
can the body. So
Yeah.
to me, that's like you grease the wheel and then you tune in and then you start
Right.
asking, right? And
Yeah.
just like our chart is one way of knowing too, right? There's
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
ways that you can know.
Yeah. So what's really powerful about what you said, and of course I am obsessed with the parallels and the overlaps between human design and astrology.
Mhm, mhm.
And the more I learn from yourself and other people, the more I kind of just want to go deeper and really see how these all work together to give us deeper understanding and more clarity.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really resonates with everything that you just said is that this total solar eclipse took place in the sign of Leo, which is a fixed sign. And if we then look at the fixed cross, as in the other fixed signs, We have Taurus, the body. We have Aquarius, the intellect. Leo is the heart. And we have Scorpio, the intuition, right? So everything that you just said is literally a representation of how this eclipse is affecting the fixed signs. And the invitation in all things, regardless of the tool that you choose, is to always be as welcoming, all encompassing, and holistic as possible. So we shouldn't ever just rely on the chatter of the mind. Right. We should always drop into the heart, but we can also develop the practice to take it into the body. What are we embodying? Where does this show up for us? What are the signs, sensations, signals? And then getting into the intuition. Scorpio rules the occult. It rules the deep emotions. It rules the intuitive nature of what's secret, what's hidden, what is ready to be relieved. It rules the shadow. Right? When we're able to bring all of that into a practice, we then see how something like a total solar eclipse is not only inviting us into something that may be new or just evolving, but it's also giving us the opportunity to clear, release, let go, and conclude something. Right? And we're going to pick those signals up by tuning in to all mind, heart, body, soul, right? So I think there's always that almost like a reflection, right, between what you've picked up through the Success Codex and what the astrology is telling us. Like, of course, they mirror each other.
Of course they do. Yeah. Look, what's coming to mind when you were talking about that, it's almost like, you know, like a practice that we might want to try, right? Anyone can try this. It's kind of like meeting with the board of directors within you, right? You've got the heart, you've got the mind, you've got the body, you've got the intuition. And so like there's this opportunity to really check in with each part. I think what's really powerful about that is, again, like, well, let's put it this way. When you can develop, right? And I know we have a lot of habits and practices we want to have in our lives, and we're all really, can I curse here?
Yeah, go for it.
We're all really fucking busy. We're all really fucking tired, right? And so I always want to be careful of not giving you more like another job to do. But here's the thing. If I am consistently connecting, let's just say with the heart, right? Because we're in this eclipse in Leo. If I'm consistently connecting with my heart, then when I have a moment like an eclipse that goes by, I can actually feel how it's impacting me. If I'm disconnected, if I'm generally disconnected from my heart, I might not even notice what's going on. It's still going on, but I probably have a little bit more, a little bit less conscious awareness, right? It's like any relationship. And there's always an opportunity to build deeper relationship with these parts of ourselves. And when we can do that consistently, it helps us navigate the wobbles and the changes and the eclipses and the events and, you know, and just like life circumstances. And so, you know, I have a practice that could probably be adapted to this, where it's just my daily practice is I put my hand on my heart and I close my eyes and I ask myself, what do you feel? And I answer, whatever it is. Whatever it is fine, good, bad. There's no judgments here. I'm just acknowledging my feeling part. Then I ask myself, what do you need? Right. And whether or not I can have it, it's just acknowledging the part of myself that has desires and needs. And then what do I know? What do I know? Right. Not in the mind, my inner knowing. That's my daily practice. But something like this, it could be like, what does my body want to tell me today? What does my heart have to say? What does my intuition know? You know, and these are the kinds of super simple practices that deepen our relationship with ourselves so that we can participate in these events.
Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful practice. And I think one of the things that I have tried really hard to get right in the purpose code is what a daily practice looks like. And
Yeah.
obviously, because it's an app, it's more about here's a question, here's something to sit with,
Mhm.
but taking that a little bit deeper into bring this into your heart and sit with it. You know, what is your body telling you as you sit with this? Like, how are you feeling? Stay in the emotion. That has been really difficult for me the past few days. It's like,
Yeah.
as intense as the emotions get, is the more I want to get away from them, and
Yeah.
staying in them is where the reward actually happens. But I
Mhm.
think having a daily practice is it's really, really powerful. And this is not me preaching, but I do believe that so many lives change and people are more likely to align with purpose, feel more successful, be a little bit more grounded and connected with self when they do have these daily practices. So, my, I guess, one of my key kind of practices, and I don't want to say theories, but as a therapist, I'm actually an ACT therapist.
Mm.
So mindfulness is like just naturally who I am. And so everything that you're saying is something that I would always encourage people to do, like just daily check in, right? But having a daily practice, if you can't do it at any other time, do it over the next couple of weeks. Do
Yeah.
whatever you need to do, set a reminder, because this energy is really intense. It's really about riding the waves. It's really about waking up with whatever is present for you that day.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
really is about, can I embody this? Do I need to release this? Is there a conversation? Do I need to go for a walk, a run, or whatever? Um, the energy that we are all about to experience over the next couple of weeks will be so much more useful to us if
Mm.
we have that practice of really
Yeah.
connecting with it and
Yeah.
just really being present to whatever is being asked of you in the moment. Like, this
Mhm.
is definitely about freestyling, freewheeling, taking each day, each hour maybe as it comes, but being able to tap in, be present, be a little bit mindful. And like you said, you know, go into the heart or whatever it is that you feel like you don't do as often,
Right.
and see what the difference is.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that even
I
that's a
love that.
powerful inquiry, right? Like looking at those 4 kind of cardinal well, not
Mm.
cardinal, but like that cross of places. So
Fixed, yeah, the
yeah,
fixed time.
so the fixed, right? So your mind, your body, your heart, and your intuition, which is the one that you
Mhm.
feel most comfortable with? Like, know which one is like, this one is easy for me. It's easy for me to be in my
Yeah,
heart. It's easy for me to trust my intuition. And then just asking, like, well, which one do I just forget about all the time?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And like, let that be the practice. I think it can be
Mm.
so easy. And I love, what you're saying. It's like, making an experiment for a few weeks, just a
Mhm.
touch point of connecting to these pieces is better than nothing, right?
Right.
And I think sometimes we put this pressure on ourselves to make like a daily practice. It's like an hour
Yeah,
meditating, and it's not that. I actually think
yeah.
that doing like micro practices throughout your day is actually more effective than a long
I
practice,
agree. I
because
agree.
then you're integrating that mindfulness into your entire
Yeah,
life, not just
yeah,
some, little
yeah,
patch of
exactly.
time.
I
So,
also think that when you feel the most out of sorts, or as if you might be struggling a little bit or feeling really challenged, that's a great time to reach for a practice. Because
mm,
sometimes we can get into a bit of a comfort zone and everything's going great, but the minute we start to feel a little bit activated, it's a great time to be like, okay, I'm going to do this now.
yep.
Um, but even just like, I think I looked at my question for the day, my practice for the day in the purpose code, and it was
Mhm.
something like, just take 10 minutes to yourself today and just sit with the emotion, just process what's here without wanting to fix it, without wanting to control it, without wanting to change anything. Just 10 minutes. We can all find 10 minutes,
Right.
right? We can all go silent, be with ourselves, as uncomfortable as it may be, and
Mhm.
just be without the doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if nothing else, the eclipse is like things happen, and sometimes let them, right? It's
Right.
just reality. Things happen, let them,
Yeah.
A
Things
little bit of
happen,
Mel
and
Robbins.
stop trying to convince yourself you can stop them from happening.
Yeah, and like stop trying to fix it, change it,
Yeah.
control them. Like just get comfortable with being present to what is happening. And I think one of the most powerful reflections for me with this particular eclipse is the fact that obviously the sun rules Leo, it's in Leo, and then the moon literally eclipses the sun, and we have the little halo. So it's almost like just enough light to start again, right?
Mhm.
Just enough to start to sow a new seed, to really engage with the practice of a new beginning, to really just a like little bit of light coming through. So don't try and plant a whole garden. Just think
Mm.
about what is that one little thing that has been there, like, it might be like a little butterfly that has been floating around your head for a few weeks. So that one thing, it just needs to be small. And I think sometimes I'm guilty of like, I want all of it. Let's sow the whole garden. I want an allotment. I want all the vegetables, all the flowers.
Mhm.
Let's get it all in there. And what an eclipse does is it shares the power of one small thing. But as long as it's the thing that you're inspired to do, the
Mm.
thing that you might have been pushing away, not believing, not necessarily feeling ready for,
Mhm.
sow the seed of that one small thing and allow that to grow, develop, and unfold. And the rest of it, do nothing with. Just let it be. Let it be
Mm.
eclipse and
Mhm.
see what's left at the end.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm seeing the metaphor of like, you've got a garden and seeds are planted, and now is the time to give this one little sapling seed your attention, your love,
Yeah.
right? It's like, all right, I'm gonna put some fertilizer around this one plant, right? Because
Yeah.
this is the one that really like I'm inspired to connect with today.
Yeah, yeah. I
This
think
time.
sometimes we just overcomplicate things and we do need to simplify. I know that I definitely try and do too much. I have clients who are always doing everything,
Mhm.
at least six new things at once. And I'll be like,
Mhm.
how about we prioritize one? Just one. What would it feel like if we gave all our energy to one?
Yes.
Right. And it's like, what would happen if we allowed ourselves to take that risk and just focus on the one thing and just release everything else, and we'll see what's left at the end of it all, because it is a bit of a pruning process. Just to make things more complicated, we do have Jupiter in Leo as well. It's a whole
Mm.
Leo fest. So
Mhm.
what Jupiter
Mhm.
does is grow things and expand things, but the danger is letting things overgrow, overcomplicate. So we
Mm.
must keep pruning and
Mm.
simplifying. And, while some things are growing, let's pull out the weeds, right? So
Mm.
it's the idea that this eclipse is bringing our focus in and saying, this is the thing that
Yeah.
you need. And maybe let go of some of the rest of it and just see what happens. So
Mhm.
there is some pruning, reduction, refinement energy
Mhm.
going on. And I know that you and I both have Venus in Leo, like
Yeah.
as well as having like Capricorn moons, right?
Mhm.
It's like,
Mhm.
and Saturn retrograde in Aries is squaring my Capricorn moon. I mean, it's just a wonderful time to be alive, right?
It's just so much fun. I wanted to say something about
Ah,
Jupiter. I wanted to say something about Jupiter. Can I share my screen?
yeah, go ahead.
I'll just share I'm going to share the success codex of the eclipse itself. So it just took,
Yeah.
I looked at the exact time that it went direct in UTC and I created this chart. So if you don't know what a success codex is, this is the success codex. So here's the sun in the center, and then
Mhm.
flow is the moon, right? So you see that they're both, let me zoom in here, right? They're both
Yeah.
4.2.
Mhm.
But I was looking at some of what these other planets are, and here is let me just zoom in. This is Jupiter, right? And so I know that Jupiter's in Leo,
Yeah.
But during like the exact moment of this eclipse, like there, I do think that it creates an imprint, right? Because it's a significant
Mm-hmm.
moment. It's not just the sun and the moon. There's a significant moment that gets activated. And so here, Jupiter is asking us to really reflect, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
expansion, but it's the expansion that comes with like, you're going to use the wisdom from your reflections. It's not just a like blind going, moving, initiating kind of energy. There is a deep wisdom. There is this like a deep knowing. This comes from wisdom of experience. It
Yeah.
comes from wisdom, even of other people's experience, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not just about us. And so, to me, I see this time as like, okay, it just makes perfect sense with what you're saying. It's like, choose the one thing, be wise about what you
Yeah.
want to grow.
Yeah. Well, you've got 2 weeks, right? Even though
Yeah.
the eclipse was a new moon yesterday, we're given a corridor, right? We have
Mhm.
time. There's no rush. And in fact, having the energy of Jupiter really present with this eclipse, like you said, it is about wisdom. But I think even more importantly is that Jupiter's a really gassy planet, right?
Mm.
Jupiter
Mhm.
is the exaggerator, right? It was like, oh, I had a garden and it was a huge field. No, it was just a little, it was fine. It was still a garden, but it wasn't like, the royal gardens or whatever.
Mhm.
And what this eclipse energy doing is refining. It's getting rid of the inflation. It's getting rid of the gassy
Mm.
energy, and it's leaving
Mhm.
us with. It's almost like the pearl left in the oyster,
Mhm.
right? It's like
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
gold after we've refined and burnt off all of the trash, right? It's like so that Jupiter energy is like allow the refinement process to happen.
Mhm.
We don't
Mhm.
have to go with the big idea, which I'm very good at, like big idea, big picture. Let's bring it all the way back down to the MVP, right? What is
Mhm.
the smallest, most solid core, the
Mhm.
seed of what it is that has come to you? And
Mhm.
that can take a little bit of time. So, this eclipse energy over the next few days and couple of weeks is helping us with that refinement process. And
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes we're just guilty of like being so excited by the idea, right? It's, oh, what a
Mhm.
great idea. Let's just do it. But
Mhm.
sometimes we need to get to the core of it. And
Mhm.
so the wisdom of Jupiter is about timing. It is about letting something kind of ferment, letting it, brew or whatever
Yeah.
until we get to the core of it. And that's the real wisdom. And it just
Yeah.
takes a little bit of time. And we
Yeah.
will know because that's what the energy supports. It supports the knowing, it supports the gift.
Yeah. 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 It takes time. Absolutely. And it takes a level of trust.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm going to prune and I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to let these things lie and I'm going to focus on this one thing, I have to really surrender these other
Mhm.
things instead of
Yeah.
just pretending,
Yeah.
like 'cause sometimes I
Yeah.
can pretend to be like, okay, I'm putting that to the side, but it still occupies like a massive part of my mind, which can be an energy
Yeah.
drain. Right. So we're
Yeah.
focalizing our energy into this one thing. But one other thing I wanted to say, it's like, um, in those moments when we're not trusting, when we're not
Mhm.
giving time, the mind comes in to try to control, to try to understand, but only through that limited lens of what the mind can know, right? So, like, the mind wants to
Yeah.
understand everything, but it can't see past its own blinders. And so,
Yeah.
just when we have these kind of like fear based responses, right? The closing down, the trying to control, the needing to figure it all out. To me, it's like, it's not bad. It's just a reminder. It's like, I'm probably in a little bit of fear. Right. And when I
Right.
think of Leo, I think of like being on that stage and shining, right? There's
Mhm.
just that creative energy and that light. And if you're
Yeah.
going to be on stage, maybe there's a little bit of fear, but the joy of expression is bigger than the
Yeah.
fear. And so it's just this invitation when we feel the tightening to come back to that, like, um, yeah, almost like that kernel of desire
Yeah.
and what lights us up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know if anybody saw the eclipse yesterday. It was a little bit disappointing where I was. I took the dog out quite late to like this huge park, and
Mhm,
it was packed. Like it would normally be empty the time that I went. And it was
mhm,
actually quite cute because they were like groups of like friends who were quite young and families, and
mhm.
everyone was kind of walking around mumbling, going, "Oh gosh, is that it?" Like that was really disappointing because it
Yeah.
just went a little bit grey. It wasn't whatever, but I was really impressed with the amount of people that were out there that had actually gone to see the eclipse. And I thought to
Mhm.
myself, this has really captured the imagination of what I would call regular people who may not be so spiritual
Yeah,
and might have
yeah.
just been there because, it's in the news and, the astronomy of it all.
Mhm,
And I did think to myself that this is not a one event, it's like a double event, right? So people are so disappointed because they didn't see the huge spectacle, and there were quite a few people with eclipse glasses, and I was like, whoever sold them made bank, and now everyone's like, what was the point? But
Suckers.
right, but it's like it starts with a new moon and ends with a full moon. And
Mhm,
I think if people can just get their head around the fact that this is like it's two ends, right? We have a start and we have an end,
mhm,
because we have this 2 week corridor where we have
mhm,
the new moon and then we end with a full moon, which is a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on the
mhm.
28th. And it's like, this isn't the event, it's the opening of the
Yes.
event.
Yeah. It's a threshold. It's just a
Right.
yeah. Yes.
We're
Yes.
just getting started, people. Right. And it's like, if people understood that, oh, we've just opened the doors, now we have a 2 week window, and then we'll have this huge conclusion in a couple of weeks, then they
Mm,
might feel a little bit different, right? Because
yeah.
this is I want to say almost like a passage, right? Like people call it a corridor or a tunnel, but it is a passage. We are going through some kind of initiation. We are
Mhm,
going
mhm,
through this process of maybe starting to recognize and understand some things.
mm,
If
mhm.
we understand that we haven't asked for what we really want, we haven't laid the foundations correctly, we haven't let go of something that we started 18, 19 years ago, we
Mm.
haven't um, applied ourselves to the thing that we say we want, right? We got afraid or anxious or whatever. This 2 weeks is going to do that work. And that sounds like a huge grand gesture. But if you imagine that the realization is what is brewing right now, we
Mm.
have 2 weeks to do the shedding, the refocusing, the
Mhm,
repositioning, the realignment,
mhm,
whatever it is we need to do. So that when
mhm.
we get to that full moon in Pisces, then we'll say, oh, this was a spectacular event,
Yeah,
right? Because it's a
yeah,
2 week event. It's not
yeah.
just the moment that the moon covers the sun. That is just like curtains up. So,
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like people will launch an offer and then that day, if they don't get the response, they're just like, nah, it didn't work. But you've
mm,
got all that time between when you launch and when you start the
and
offer.
when you
And it's like
stop,
that's the time that you
yeah,
want to be present and do and like engaged with it. And it's
yeah,
kind of the same thing. I really love what you're saying because I do think we tend to, we put so much pressure and so much stock into like that event, and it's supposed to feel like like I'm supposed to have full body chills and to have this realization drop in, and
yes,
it's not like that.
not
It's
at all.
almost like we're just turning the key right, and then we
Yeah,
walk through the door and take
yeah,
the steps. And
yeah,
yes, maybe it's the steps of clarity, getting clear and focusing. And then there's also the part of me that's just like, it's already done, right? We're just walking now, right? Like the stage has been set. So all it requires me to do is just really just move towards
yeah.
what I want.
Show up.
Um,
Yeah,
and the pieces are gonna You know, I'm a little bit kind of seeing that vision of like, you know, you put your foot down and then the ground appears underneath you, right? You
To
put
meet
another
you.
step in the ground, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the
And,
next 2 weeks, I think.
and I also think that this is, I just keep saying, a refinement process. So if people are feeling stuck, if they're feeling like I really want to move in this direction and nothing's working, it's like you said, like you launched today, right? There's going to be a bit of a spike of interest, but you've got to be consistent. You've got to keep showing up. You've got
Yeah.
to keep going. And there will be a dip in the middle, right?
Yes.
Anyone who
Always.
like writes
Mm-hmm.
markets or anything, we all know about the dip in the middle of the campaign, right?
Oh,
It's like allow that dip to happen and then bring the reader back up at the other end, right? Or
yeah.
put a bit of extra oomph in and like lift the campaign before you get to the close, because that full moon in Pisces is closing out the last 18 months. So
Mm-hmm.
everything that has come up for us as collective, as individuals in the past 18 months is closing out. And the solar eclipse yesterday is starting the next 18 months. But there's
Mm.
always that little overlap, right? We don't have
Yeah.
hard starts and hard finishes.
Yes.
When it
Yeah.
comes to energy, there's always that flow and that little mingling where the energies are like, oh, I'm passing, like I'm going this way, you're going that way.
Mm-hmm.
So think about having 2 weeks of intense releasing, shedding, letting go, while beginning, starting, getting ready for what's next. And
Yeah.
if you think back to the past 18 years, whatever it is that happened for you between December 2007 and early 2009, next level of that is likely to show up in your life.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, get
Mm.
ready to embrace it. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot on offer for all of us, but it does require that we show up, participate,
Yeah.
lean in, and go with whatever appears. And one of the things, I'm just going to share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me see if it works first. What is that doing? Um, one of the things that I want to share, I don't know if you can see that,
Mm-hmm.
is that we have, so I've organized a challenge for the next 2 weeks called Decode the Eclipse. And it actually starts on Monday the 17th, but it unlocks on Saturday the 15th. And
Mm-hmm.
the reason that I put this particular challenge together
Mm-hmm.
is because I just think that when I've been through these types of events before, it's felt quite lonely and a little bit isolating. And it's a lot of work to sit and do your own astrology every day and, you know, look at what's happening. The moon's here now, and Mars is here, and Jupiter's doing
Mm-hmm.
this. And now what do I do? What does that mean? And
Mm-hmm.
imagine just coming together as a group using the prompts in the app. So when you register, you'll have a little panel that unlocks, and you will get a series of prompts every day. You'll get questions to help you to really reflect on what you're feeling. And more importantly, you'll get answers, right? So my question of the day is, as a bridge, what does the partial lunar eclipse ask of me? That is at the end of this eclipse tunnel. But if I look at today's
Mm-hmm.
guidance, your need to hold everything together is being tested by a force you can't control right now. Not happy about that, but it is very true, right? So it's almost like, oh, that's why I feel like this. What is this unknown force? Seems to be a little bit stronger than me at the moment. But at least I have
Mm.
some acknowledgement as to why I feel the way I do, as to why
Yeah.
things are happening and unfolding the way they are. And getting that unlocking every day, plus 3 prompts for the eclipse, where you can go to Ask Sherile and find out exactly what's going on, but more importantly, get some guidance as to what you should do about it. I just think
Mm.
really, really important. So I
Mm.
just invite everyone to sign up for the challenge. The more the merrier, right? It's going to be interesting. We're going to
Yeah.
have great stories to share. if you're already a founding member, if you did the last challenge, then all you have to do is register. It's included in your membership. And if you're a free user or you've not downloaded the app, it just costs £36. But the idea is, let's get through this eclipse as well as possible. Let's support each other. Let's talk about the hard things, right? Like, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
talking about emotional stuff apparently, but the emotions have been intense the past few days. And at least I know why, right? But it's nice to be able to share with others, reflect on what's happening, and then maybe journal a little bit or do a little practice together. But yeah, just like sharing with other people. And the whole idea is, if this eclipse is happening for us, what does it mean for me personally?
Yeah.
And what am I being invited to do?
Yeah.
And what should I be doing maybe a little bit differently to what I've
Mm-hmm.
always done?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's nice to be seen and heard sometimes when we're going through things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Again, it's like such beautiful support for our participation in it, so
yeah,
it's not just a
yeah.
passive thing, right? Because again, it's happening either way. But if you have an opportunity to
Oh
move
yeah,
through it consciously and
yeah,
intentionally and to participate in it, you're only going to benefit from that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's very
And as
exciting.
much as things are ending, great things are being offered, right? So I remember 2008 is when I first started working for myself. The last time we had the eclipse in Leo, the exact same eclipse we're having now. And I still work for myself, and that doesn't mean it's been easy, but
Hmm.
it's lasted, right? Fixed sign eclipse. So you
Hmm.
start something now, it's likely to last for a long time.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't go back and change it. Some other things happened that were awful, right? There were some other things that I had to let go of, and
Yeah.
um, friendships in particular were really difficult at that time.
Mm.
But I'm still here, going strong, having learned a lot. But it would have been so nice back then to know that I'm in the window of
Mm.
stepping out and starting your own business. Prepare yourself rather than doing it out of anxiety and rage because I wasn't being paid and I wanted to take control of my
Right.
career,
Right.
right? I would have maybe started in a slightly different energy, knowing that sometimes friendships have an end date and it's
Hmm.
okay to release that friendship because other friends that you're better suited to, that are more aligned with who you are and where you're going, will show up. Because it's so difficult when we think that things are permanent and not know that it's temporary because we're in this 2 week tunnel. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes we've got these short transits that's like a burst, and you can feel the change quickly, and sometimes we've got these really slow ones and these patterns that
Hmm.
happen. Like, I mean, it's been a while since we've had this exact eclipse, right? So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we can forget the energy of it. So it's all just really helpful to empower
Yeah.
us through it, I
Yeah.
think, at the end of the
And
day.
I also like the similarities. So when you meet other people that have similar placements in their chart and they're like,
Hmm.
oh, I've had clients where, like, a couple of clients, they had children during the last eclipse, right?
Hmm.
And it's like, oh yeah, we've got children the same age and this is what our kids are doing. And
Hmm.
they're using the app, they're interested in the same sort of things and whatever. But it's
Hmm.
like you and I both have Venus in Leo, so we're going
Hmm.
through some of the same things, as far as I would imagine. But for me, it's definitely about how I build my business next, as far
Mm.
as things like my values and the direction that I'm going in and what
Yep.
that means for me as a Taurus rising. But also, what do the finances look like? I've
Mhm.
never worked so hard on a financial model as I am doing currently. And
Mm.
it's like, even before we got on this call, we had a very short conversation, and you were like, pricing. And I was like, she doesn't even know what she's saying right now because this is all I've been thinking about. And I was like, I don't
Yeah,
know. But it is like, it's under the spotlight, right? Venus
it
in
is.
Leo,
Yeah.
this eclipse. And it's
Mhm.
like, I've done so much work and I don't know how to do this and I don't know what this should look like. And
Mm.
I'm doing research and looking back at old pricing models that I've used and looking at what other people use, and it's just this whole focus. But
Yeah,
Venus does rule money, right? It rules
it
income,
does.
it
Yeah,
rules
yeah.
value and worth. So that for us is very much under the spotlight. And I have Jupiter conjunct my Venus right now, just to
So
really,
it's
jazz it
just
up.
magnetized there for you.
It's like,
Yeah, and it's like when I
yeah,
hear that, it's just like the mind is going to give you really powerful answers, and so will your body, and so will your heart,
yeah,
and so will your intuition. And
yeah,
so, it's for me, like I won't speak for you, but for me, it's so easy for me to go right into figure it out with the brain. And
right.
what I've been practicing lately is let me ask the brain after I ask the heart and the body.
Hmm.
Right. So when I find myself in that, like, oh, how should I do it? I stop. I go and move my body. Like I
Hmm.
walk. So I like to set an intention before I walk. And I just say, all right,
Hmm.
um, I'm opening now to information and understanding about my pricing. And that's it.
Yeah,
I don't try to figure it out. I let the walk and the movement of
yeah.
my body give me information, right? Or it
Hmm.
could be like a heart meditation. But that's the
Hmm.
thing, right? Like working. I hear you saying, like, I'm working so hard on that. I'm like, oh my God, it's me. It's me. I'm working so hard
Yeah,
on that too. And so it is just
yeah,
this, um, we can use both of these systems to kind of get us
yeah,
back on track with like it's like a more natural path of least resistance to the answers that want to come through.
yeah. And we also have Capricorn moons, right? So
Yeah.
the willingness to work hard on everything and work through everything
Yeah.
is sometimes um, a little bit distracting to exactly what you're saying. So,
Mhm.
what's interesting is I like to go for a drive when I'm thinking, as well
Mhm.
as walk. They're my two
Mhm.
things. But I have
Mhm.
my second house is in Gemini and I have Saturn there. So, when I am thinking about business pricing in particular, which
Mhm.
for me is very different from what I get paid, right? For some reason,
Mm.
I'm very separate, but
Mm.
it is almost like I'll be driving and I will literally say, who's waiting to hear from me? Who's got my money? Which direction do I go in next? Which offer is due? Which offer are people waiting for? How do I offer the most value? Just give me all the signs. And literally, I will have a conversation like I did with you, and you'll say what you said, and I'll be like, really?
There it
Thanks.
is.
Like, because I didn't want to do that, but I'm like, oh, okay. Or
You
they'll be
asked,
like,
I don't know. That's yeah.
literally,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
things flow in, and it might take a couple of days, but there might be a video, a song will play, or a
Right.
podcast, and it will be literally a direct answer to
Yeah.
whatever I ask. So I, rather than kind of like tapping into my body, I just ask for the signs
Yeah.
and the guidance, and I'll have dreams, visions, whatever. And I'll be like, just send me whatever it is I need to know, point me in the right direction, send the right people,
Mhm.
align me with whatever it is that is ready, and I'll show up.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, like those signs, those answers come in.
Yeah.
So, and it's just fascinating to me when I do meet people who have similar placements and things going on, and I'm just like, oh, this is great. Let's see how this is showing up
Right.
for other
Well, it's
people,
a
right?
mirroring, right? It's like because
Yeah,
it's I always say like it's so internal, right? And that's why these systems are great. Like we just are ourselves. We're so within
yep,
ourselves. We can't see who we are often or what we're doing, right? So when you have a map of yourself, you've got your success codex, you've got your astrology, you have your human design, your gene keys, whatever system you're using, it creates enough space to give you perspective and to see.
yes,
And it's the same thing as these relationships, right? We both have the moon in Capricorn. My moon and my midheaven are exactly conjunct. My Venus
yeah.
was exactly conjunct this eclipse. Exact. I mean,
Wow.
exact, which is
Yeah,
crazy, right? So
yeah,
like
yeah,
so the collective is reflecting back to me my Venus on top of it,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
these conversations, it's like I can those patterns, the things that you're sharing, I feel the resonance in it because
yeah,
it's familiar.
yeah.
But do we see that when we're just sitting and stewing in our own little bubble worlds?
Absolutely
No.
not.
That's
No,
why we need
no.
others.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and that is where the you know, I often remind myself that because I have a tendency to isolate, and very comfortable in my own energy,
Mhm.
I remind myself quite often how important it is to reach out and connect with people,
Yeah.
because everything comes to us through others, right? Guidance, gifts, ideas, suggestions, feedback,
Mhm.
corrections, whatever it is that we need in that moment, it's
Yeah.
going to come to us through other people.
Yeah.
And so the tendency to Cat Moon, Virgo Sun, I just like lock in. And
Yes.
like you said, you'll just be working, working, working. And it's like, you just lift your head up for a minute,
Yeah.
walk the dog, go for a drive, have a chat with somebody. And oh, look at that. There's the answer that you couldn't figure out
Yeah.
by working really hard on your own.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think, as we grow as a community, especially here on Substack,
Mhm.
I definitely feel as though more and more opportunity is arising for us all to like connect and have conversations and to speak and share and just offer each other like really powerful feedback and guidance, because we can't do this work alone, right? Collectively, we have such a huge impact, but we must keep showing up and being with each other, whether it's, in a situation like this or working together,
Mhm.
partnering, or whatever, because there are so many more of us now doing this work in this space, and we can learn so much from each other.
It's so true. And, I think that being an entrepreneur it's one of the loneliest paths of
Yeah,
how to make money. Even
definitely.
when you have a ton of clients, it can be really
Mm,
lonely. It's why having some sort of a community, like good or bad, many of us have had to pay to be in communities to get that. I think that
yeah,
there are many of us who are just forming our own communities, not through money, not through that. It's like we're all contributing our time and our presence, and we have a certain level, right, of like knowledge and wisdom, so we can really support each other. But it is
yeah,
essential. It's
I
essential.
think
And
so.
especially as leaders, right? Like we get feedback from our clients, we get the real time feedback while we're leading.
Hmm.
Feedback from peers is really, it's helpful, that
Yeah,
mirroring, that those reflections, just somebody again with that little bit of space to potentially point you towards what you might not be seeing can make
yeah,
all of the difference. So I love
yeah,
that, I love that you invited me here to talk, and these
yeah.
kinds of conversations, right? It's like, okay, we're talking about something outside of ourselves, but I'm still gaining so much personally from the
Yeah,
conversation.
I think, sometimes it takes a little bit of effort, right? To like initiate, make the connection, but then
Yeah.
what comes out of it is so amazing. And
Yeah.
I hope that people watching this feel a lot of like the connection we feel,
Mhm.
and, the support that we're able to offer each other and how we can help other people. So at the end of the day, we're here to serve others, but at the same time, we do have to take care of ourselves. We do have to take care of each other and
Yeah.
make sure that we're okay so that we can be there for everybody else. But yeah, I just want to, just really acknowledge how amazing it is that you and I can sit together and do
Yeah.
this work that we're speaking about, astrology and human design and,
Mhm.
purpose, success. It's so
Mhm.
important that people start to really feel as though they are going somewhere in life and their life has meaning.
Yeah.
And I just think that, we might use slightly different systems and we might have a slightly different approach, but we're heading in the same direction. And yeah, I think, it's just really exciting to see what comes out of all of these conversations and whatever we all do next. So
Yeah.
yeah, been
Absolutely.
great. Been
Yeah.
great.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, where can people get the Success Codex? How do
Mhm.
people connect with you and work with you? And what are you offering at the moment, Ankhara?
Yeah. So, best way. So I showed a little, I showed a success codex, but we all have our own success codex, just like astrology, based on birth, time, date, and location. So if you go to free success codex, CODEX, freesuccesscodex.com. You type in your info, it will, Success Codex will pop up and you download the PDF and then you can keep it forever. And, from there, there's, you'll kind of be directed in different ways to learn and to work with me. I've got a membership here. But that's what's alive right now. We're currently working on putting the system on my own website and working with a developer on an app. So
Amazing.
lots of exciting things happening.
Yeah, that is really exciting. Okay, and I think everybody knows now, if you go to thepurposecode.app, you can download the app. Please continue to share it. I just want to say that the numbers are still growing. I'm not quite sure how, but I'm incredibly grateful to everyone that is sharing the app and using the app and getting value out of it. Keep sharing the feedback. And I'd also like to say that to all of the founding members and future founding members, I haven't forgotten about you. We will be getting together and speaking a little bit more. But thank you for the feedback, everyone. And thank you for continuing to support. It's just so encouraging on those difficult days when you have to get up and keep working. So, yeah, let's see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Remember to join the challenge. And I'm just excited for what's going to unfold because it's pretty intense already. So let's see where we're all going. So, yeah, if anybody wants to ask any questions, figure out how to work with me or Ankhara, we're both here on Substack. So you'll find our profiles. But all right. Thanks ever so much, Ankhara. Thanks for watching, everyone. And I'll see you all soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.